Welcome today to From the Pastor's Heart. Pastor Barry here with you, looking at Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and the first three verses. Uh, this is what God inspired the author to write. The mystery of time is the heading here. There is an occasion for everything and a time for every activity under heaven, a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build. I was reading a rather humorous email this morning. Pastor was sharing some goings on in his family. He was telling the story of his youngest child, talking about how she's always on the move, rarely ever winding down by bedtime. So the nightly routine, you can pretty much imagine what that is. This affair had become a very familiar routine for he and his wife. A drink of water, a prayer, a song, her doll, another drink of water, a kiss, a hug, a third sip of water, a trip to the bathroom, a warning, another kiss. And he said, on and on. One night, he said he decided to be Mr. Nice Guy, just to be the epitome of patience and tolerance. He did it all with her. Not once did he lose his cool, and he refers to her sometimes as Miss Busybody. And he said she finally ran out of requests, and he quietly slipped out of the room, breathed a sigh of relief, and had no sooner sat down in his easy chair in the living room, and long before he could stretch out and relax, there was a piercing scream from another name he has for her, Jitterbug, a piercing scream from Jitterbug's room. And startled, of course, he dashed down the hallway and rushed to her bedside, and just huge crocodile tears pouring down her face. And he said, "What's wrong, honey?" He said, What happened?" She said, "I burnt my tongue." And he was confused, to say the least. He said, "You did what?" He said, "I burnt my tongue." And he said, "How in the world did you do that?" She said, "I licked my nightlight." He said that really did happen. She couldn't control her curiosity. She simply had to discover how it would feel to lick that little thing that glowed so warmly and made such a serene glow nightly by her bed. But she was very rudely awakened to the fact that lights are for lighting, not for licking, he said. And tongues are made for tasting, not testing. And he said, you can realize the best thing that our little friend could have done was to stay in bed. It was time to sleep, to keep her tongue to herself, he said, and allow the light to fulfill what it was designed to do. But she didn't, he said, and she got burned. Well, here in Ecclesiastes, in these first verses, Solomon, the wise author of Ecclesiastes, passes along to us a list of the various types of appointed times on earth. Among them, he mentions a time to heal, uh, time to give up, a time to be lost, a time to be silent. Uh, he said, and I see these really are words of counsel from him. And they all carry, as I read them, they all carry one very, very strong undercurrent. Back off. It's often wise for us to relax our intensity in the things we do, to refuse to force an issue, to allow nature and allow God to take its course. Backing off, says Solomon, provides opportunity for healing to occur, opportunity for perspective to break through what can be sometimes some very dark storm clouds in our lives, bringing emotions and bringing to light a very difficult situation. And many times, if we back off and if we allow God to work, it can bring a completely fresh understanding. When the time is right, and that's what I posted this morning on my post to let you know what we'd be doing today. When the time is right, things flow very naturally, very freely. To rush or to force things just creates friction more often than not. Scars, even sometimes, that can take years to erase. Uh, we've all been there, myself included, of course. Um, and even though I slip backwards at times, sometimes it's like one step forward, two steps back. I've tried my best to learn this very difficult lesson. More often than not, I've learned it in a hard way to keep a tight bridle on my tongue, relax and settle in for a good night's sleep. Otherwise, in difficult situations, things going on in our lives, we can get a little bit too pushy. I've gotten a little bit too pushy. And yes, at times I've gotten caught with my tongue in the wrong place. And yes, I have gotten burned. God bless you today. Look forward now, being as it is Friday. Look forward to seeing you Sunday morning. Message entitled, What's the Plan, Stan? Talking about from Ephesians chapter 1, verses 3 through 14, talking about the plan, really kind of following up a little bit remotely, perhaps, with today's devotion, the plan that God has for you individually in life. God bless you. Look forward to seeing you Sunday morning, 10:55 a.m. And until then, remember that God loves you, and so do I.